This is the news on top of the hour.
Live from our studio in Georgetown.
Kaieteur Radio, 99.1 FM.
Hello and welcome to your news at noon that comes to you with the compliments of Tropical Delight. I am Kevin Smith. Before we get to the top stories we're tracking, let's get to the front page comment. That should be the page 7 blunt comment of today's Kaieteur News. Billions for free. Where is your voice? We place something simple before you, our fellow citizens. If Vice President Jagdeo owns a piece of mining land and doesn't have the money, the experience and expertise to mine the land for gold, do you think that he will make an agreement with someone who has no cash, no experience, no expertise in the gold business to enter onto this mining concession? Certainly not. Well, citizens, this is what is taking place before our eyes in relation to the Kaieteur and Kanji oil blocks. Donald Ramotar and Robert Prasad handed out both oil blocks virtually for free to Dookie and 4 others who had no cash, no expertise, and no experience in oil production. These blocks are worth billions of US dollars. Then they authorized them to sell the blocks and keep the cash. Citizens, this is what is taking place with our oil wealth, your oil wealth. Where are your voices? And now for the top stories we are tracking. Hess Chief Financial Officer says low-cost Liza Phase 2 arguably best project in oil industry with world-class break-even price of $25 US per barrel. Couple found burnt in house identified as business owners. Police suspect murder-suicide. Biden moves closer to the presidency as Trump launches legal challenges, and monitoring borders remain a challenge for government, says the health minister. And car and trucks burn after cyclist struck down. Stay tuned to stay informed.
Guyana is now a full-fledged oil-producing nation. But how much do you know about this valuable yet finite resource? On our radio program, Guyana's Oil and You, we strike at the heart of every issue with informed views and credible data. The time is now for you to arm yourself with insightful knowledge on your oil wealth.
Child sexual abuse can stay with a person for life. It can rob them of their childhood. It's an unforgivable, unforgettable, despicable act. And yet, children suffer this abuse every day. During these times, we must keep a watch out for children. If you suspect child abuse, report it to the police without delay or call the CPA hotline on 227-0979. Protect children now.
A message from the Child Care and Protection Agency, Ministry of Human Services and Social Security, and UNICEF.
And now for the news in detail. The Liza Phase 2 operation, on track for the first oil in 2022, is arguably the best project in the exploration and production industry. So said Executive Vice President and Chief Financial Officer at Hess Corporation, John Riley. Riley pointed to the Liza Phase 2 project as a bright light in its future, in spite of how the industry has tanked due to the fallout from COVID-19. Riley regards the Liza Phase 2 operation at a total estimated development cost of $6.6 billion US as arguably the best due to its world-class break-even price of $25 US per barrel. The break-even price in economics is the price at which the production and sale of a commodity would not return a profit or a loss. Oil companies utilize this, among other indicators, to determine whether an operation would be economically feasible. In other news, family members have identified the burnt remains of a couple found in their gutted Eccles East Bank Demerara home on Tuesday as owners of businesses in Diamond Housing Scheme. The charred bodies were identified to be that of 34-year-old Leroy King and 35-year-old Cindy Moses, both of Lot 1139 Block EE Eccles. According to their relatives, King owned and operated a barber shop, while his spouse, Moses, owned a stationery shop with the Diamond community. Reports have also surfaced detailing that the couple was seen arguing minutes prior to the fire. The tragedy, which has left family members of both victims dumbfounded, has also left King's 3 young kids orphaned. And coming from CNN, former Vice President Joe Biden has moved to within 17 electoral votes of claiming the presidency by winning the state of Michigan, CNN projects, in the latest twist of a dramatic election clash between President Donald Trump that has left America's political fate uncertain hours after polls closed. His breakthrough came as Trump's campaign launched a flurry of lawsuits in several states designed to stop the former vice president from getting over the line, including challenging Pennsylvania's vote count at the Supreme Court. The election remained in suspense as the race tightened dramatically in Georgia, a must-win state for Trump, and Pennsylvania. On Wednesday night, the country was awaiting fresh batches of votes tallies in Arizona, and Nevada announced it would not report its newest batch of results until today. Let's tell you now that even in light of efforts to ramp up border security, monitoring all border crossings still poses a great challenge to the government. This is according to the Minister of Health, Dr. Frank Anthony. The minister said that given Guyana's landmass and significant number of widespread border crossings, it has been difficult for the authorities to properly protect each one. Since the first case of the virus being recorded in March, it was found that Region 9 had the highest number of illegal border crossings. And moving on, in what is being labeled as a freak accident, a car yesterday struck down a pedal cyclist and caught fire after slamming into 2 parked trucks along the Montrose Public Road, East Coast, Demerara. The injured pedal cyclist has been identified as 66-year-old Dio Kumar Parbo of Success Housing Scheme, while the driver is 36-year-old Imran Khan of Good Hope. The pedal cyclist was flung some distance away, while the driver then lost control of his vehicle and crashed it into 2 trucks parked at the side of the road. The vehicle caught fire. The firefighters arrived and managed to put out the blaze, but they could not save the car nor the trucks. Police said that the fire spread quickly and destroyed the entire car and both trucks. You are tuned into Kaieteur Radio 99.1 and 99.5 FM, and this is your news at noon. Coming up after the break, police and Hughes clash over solving of West Berbice murders. Meanwhile, coastal areas swamped after heavy rains. Do stay tuned. Welcome back. Let us continue with the news. The Guyana Police Force has rejected assertions by Attorney-at-Law Nigel Hughes that it failed to solve the gruesome murders of West Coast Berbice teenage cousins Isaiah and Joel Henry. The force announced Tuesday that it was offering a $3 million reward for any information pertinent to the case, but that move, according to Hughes, is an admission of failure. The force, however, in a statement deemed Hughes' comments irresponsible and rejected them. The GPF pointed out that issuing a reward for the public information that may lead to the solving of a crime is an internationally recognized and acceptable method to assist investigators and is one that is being utilized from time to time. And moving on, the people on the coastlands yesterday woke up to floodwaters after a thunderstorm. According to the Civil Defense Commission, the country's emergency response entity, the flooding was due to the drainage capacity of Georgetown being overwhelmed by the heavy rainfall experienced in the last 24 hours. The CDC stated that during that time frame, 5 inches of heavy rainfall was recorded, with Georgetown's drainage capacity only catering for 2 inches of water. The release also highlighted that the public is being advised by the National Weather Watch Center that the current weather pattern is expected to last until November 8th. Residents of riverine, low-lying and flood-prone areas are advised to take all necessary precautions and to contact the National Emergency Monitoring System if affected on 226-1114, 623-1700 and 600-7500. Let's tell you now that after months of hearing requests for a reduction in their facilities fees, UG has finally granted a 50% reduction for students. This was announced by the University's Student Society, who spearheaded the call for relief via a press release. According to the release, the reduction will be valid for the 2020 to 2021 academic year and will see the facilities fee, which was previously $50,000, reduced to $25,000. It was also stated that the university has begun a series of relief packages and small financial aid distributions. Let's tell you now that the state has called its final witness in the murder trial of Kurt Thomas following almost 2 weeks of trial. Thomas is indicted for the murder of fuel dealer Siram Singh, which occurred during a robbery on April 30th, 2016 at Parika Outfall. He has since denied the charge and is currently on trial before Justice Navindra Singh and a 12-member jury at the High Court in Georgetown. And now let's tell you, family members of a woman are now seeking the public's assistance in their search for her after she reportedly disappeared from her home located at Baidarabo, Bartica in Region 7. The woman, 50-year-old Winifred Fernando, went missing on October 20th. Anyone who has seen Winifred Fernando or knows where she is can contact family members on telephone numbers 654-5375 or 630-2320. Those numbers again are 654-5375 and 630-2320. And now for your COVID-19 update. The number of worldwide coronavirus cases, according to Worldometer, has reached 48,624,997, with deaths at 1,233,669. Recovery cases has reached 34,821,578. Locally, the Ministry of Health recorded 79 new COVID-19 cases yesterday, increasing the total number of confirmed cases to 4,324. 13 persons are in the COVID-19 ICU, 63 in institutional isolation, 725 are in approved home isolation, and 32 persons in institutional quarantine. The number of COVID-19 fatalities recorded to date is 130, while 3,394 recoveries were also recorded. And coming from CNN, the U.S. recorded more than 100,000 new coronavirus cases in a single day for the first time, affirming experts' warnings that another surge is underway. The CDC says it is time to develop a testing strategy to identify asymptomatic cases, as an estimated 40% of people with COVID-19 show no symptoms. Meanwhile, as infections across Europe rise exponentially, Italy will impose a new stay-at-home order. England is entering a new national lockdown, with Greece soon to follow, while Poland and Russia are reporting record case numbers. And that brings us to the end of today's News at Noon. Remember, the news came to you with the compliments of Tropical Delight. I am Kevin Smith. Thank you for listening.
To unload behind a truck down the road, details going to explode. Tropical Delight, Tropical Delight, pure taste and pure delight.
Want value for your advertising dollar? Then place your ads on Kaieteur Radio's newscasts. Stream